In my first scanning of the book, I would say that gate wardens were probably the first thing that caught my eye. And I'm not gonna say it isn't, because it has a really cool, hot goth girl surrounded by butterflies as the artwork. Was I in it for that initially? Yes. Yes, I absolutely was. But I got very lucky that was also followed up by a really cool piece of content. I'm very fascinated by the idea of backstory that doesn't necessarily have to be part of the story that you're telling. And I think that in backgrounds, you have such a rich opportunity to fill your character with things that inform their decisions, and not necessarily something that you're like, let me tell you my whole backstory right now, let me tell you everything I've ever been to, because you have this fathomless idea. You really are described as somebody who has experienced things that have forever changed you, and a lot of people that you encounter could never understand. And that's very goth. I was really interested by the gate town of Hopeless. I feel like it is so directly opposite of me. I am such a avidly anti-neutral person. I'm not neutral on literally anything. I have strong opinions about everything I've ever seen in my whole life. And the gate town of Hopeless is very interesting because neutral evil is fascinating to me, and also the way it's depicted in this it's gloomy and dark, but it doesn't mean you have to be evil to be from Hopeless. It just means that you come from a place that evil's just kind of what it is. The sensory stone is so cool. How many times in your life have you been oh, I wish I could just capture this moment to show it to somebody else, or even to relive it for myself later? And this is literally doing that. The sensory stone is capturing 6 seconds of the moment in itself. And I think about the way that people even use things where you're oh, I'm doing a minor illusion to try and convince you of something, or to try and sway your perspective or opinion on something. It's taking that to such a higher degree, and there are so many excellent good and evil and neutral ways to use that, but persuading someone through empathy and truly experiencing something when you're trying to get somewhere, to be no, this is the thing I lost, or the way that I feel about this person, and this is why you have to let me through here. And the ways that you could bargain with that, or just change somebody's mood with it. It could be very manipulative. I think it is one of the coolest magic items. Right now, and this is subject to change, I'm gonna say Mind's Eye. I like the description of it, of the world affects us and we affect the world. I think there's something that's very naturey about that. I'm a druid to my core, most people know this, and I think that there's something very true that rings home for me, Saige, about that, of we are responsible for our effect on the world. The world is changed by the way that we navigate in it, and we should be aware of the way that the world affects us. We are constantly putting out and taking in energy, and it matters, and I think that that's really cool. I've put a lot of thought into what my glitch characters would be. I have to start with a druid. I think I'm going to say a Circle of Spores druid. I've always enjoyed the idea of destruction and rebuilding. It is life and death, it is a little bit of everything. It's very cool. I am a tiefling in my heart and my soul, so I think that this character is baseline expected Saige. I like the idea of a warlock of the Archfey as well. I love the Fae in general. I love the idea of the negotiation of power, so I love warlocks for that reason, but I also think that that character is probably a halfling and got a little bit of a complex about it. This is definitely Saige's rage in this character a little bit. And then I think an Order of Scribes wizard. I think that other aspect of myself that is always wanting to take in as much information as possible. It's the wizard, the wizard who loves to wizard so much. I think that the aspects of constantly wanting to learn new things and understand how everyone else's thing works, and the constantly being tell me about that and I'm gonna write it in my little book and I'm gonna keep it for later, would summarize me pretty well, and I'd be very happy in any of those 3 characters. And then for my nexus, I think it would have to be my laugh. I squeak when I laugh. The internet would be shocked to hear, I know. And I think there's no way I'd be able to shake that through any lifetime.